Should you go vertical with one niche in rank and rent? Commonly asked question that I had, question that you have either had or are going to have if you're watching this video right now. And it is a legitimate question. When you get into this business, should you take one niche, let's say tree service, let's say concrete, let's say spray foam insulation, we'll use our examples that we always use. Should we take one of those or another niche and do that same exact niche in multiple cities across the country, whatever country you're in? Or should we have a spectrum of niches that we're in and diversify our portfolio so that we aren't, all of our eggs aren't in one basket in one specific niche? That's the question I'm going to be referring to. And I have a lot of things I want to say on this. And I think it's going to help you a lot because not only did I have this question, but I tried to do both. So I tried doing the diversification route. I tried to do the vertical route. And then I settled on something that is neither. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So there are definitely pros and cons to both. Let's talk about going vertical. I love the idea of going vertical because when you are in one specific niche, you are the expert. You are the authority. When you get on the phone to close a deal, you have 5, 6, 10 case studies. Hey, I worked with this guy in this city, this guy in this city, and you know the service, right? You know concrete. You know that driveways and patios and sidewalks are what most people get. That's most of the jobs. You understand that a little crack repair might not be the most profitable thing, right? If you were in HVAC, for example, which doesn't work very well for this specific business model, but if you were, and you know the space, you know that change outs or replacements, which is taking the whole unit and putting a new one in, is the most lucrative part of the business. That's what everybody wants, right? So as you get into these niches and as you start to explore them and become the expert, you get to speak with more authority. And because of that, you're going to close more deals. And because of that, you're going to be able to charge higher prices. You're going to be able to, there are so many advantages. It's also a lot easier when you're going into one niche because you don't have to go relearn the keyword list and relearn the pricing and relearn when is the slow season, when is the hot season, all these different things, okay? So I like vertical a lot for those reasons. Let's talk about diversifying. And let's say that you're in, let's just use a town. Let's say you're in Phoenix, right? And you're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to own Phoenix. Actually, let's use a smaller city. Phoenix is huge. Let's say you're in Mesa, right? Mesa, Arizona. I'm going to own Mesa, Arizona. I'm going to have a tree service company. I'm going to have a concrete company. I'm going to have an insulation company. I'm going to have a masonry company. I'm going to have a roof repair company. All these different things, right? I'm going to diversify into 20 different niches instead of having one niche with 20 different websites, right? Now, the beautiful part about diversification and doing that model is you technically are a little bit safer in the sense that if something happens to one niche and there's some law that's passed or there's some ingredient or part of the whatever that's part of the supply chain and whatever, you're not risking as much, right? In theory. And it also keeps it interesting. I like the diversification because sometimes doing the same niche gets a little boring, and writing content for concrete 2,000 word homepages again and again and again and again gets a little bit stale, right? So I like it for that. I like exploring new niches. I actually like, as a human, as somebody who's an entrepreneur and an opportunist, that's kind of the way that I leaned when I first started. I was like, I don't want to go vertical because I want to learn about all these different businesses. I want to be able to talk to different business owners. I want to have interesting conversations. And so that's what I did when I began. And you guys have heard me talk about this. Instead of just picking one niche, I went on a hunt to find the niche that was going to take me to the promised land, that was going to get me out of my debt, that was going to allow me to scale. And in the meantime, I was like, I'm going to test all these different things. I'm going to try all these different niches. And I did. Okay. And by the time I'd been in it a couple of years, I had a carpet cleaning site. I had a duct cleaning site. I had a towing site. I had, what are some of the other stupid ones I had? I had a foundation repair site, roofing site, house cleaning site. I mean, everything that you could possibly imagine. Luckily I got smart as we went on and I was like, okay, that probably not going to work. Dog grooming, mobile dog grooming, probably going to be too low ticket, right? So I started to get a little bit smarter, but I did the diversification first. So that's what I did first. Now, after I did that and it wasn't scaling, I thought, man, I guess I just need to go vertical. And I found a niche called foundation repair, stumbled across it. And the first deal that I did, it worked. And it was like a mix of foundation repair / basement waterproofing, but that whole kind of space. And a lot of those companies do both. So I did a deal and I thought, man, and it worked. And it was kind of dumb luck. I didn't know what low-hanging fruit was. I didn't know how to pick a city. And I got this deal and it worked. And again, it was just pure fluke. And because of that luck, that success that I had, I naively assumed it was the perfect niche. And I was like, I found it. And I almost scrapped everything else. I just went all in. And the scary part is, because I was good at selling, I went and I started putting these deals together with these larger companies and saying, hey, let's go build you, let's do it one website and then let's expand to 10 and 20. And I was able to collect large upfront payments. And I thought I was on top of the world and I was crushing it. And it wasn't until literally 18 months later that I started to realize, like, a lot of these sites that I built 18 months ago still aren't ranking. And they may be ranking on page 1, but they're not at the top, and I'm not getting enough leads. And oh crap, I'm trying to turn on ads or looking at the ad route and it's not working. And I didn't understand at the time, oh my gosh, well, that's because cost per click is $25. Like, of course it's not working. Can you imagine $25? Now, if it's not less than $5, I'm not going into it. All this to say, I went vertical, but I went vertical in the wrong niche. And that kind of is where it left me in 2019, when you guys have heard the story where I almost got out of the entire business model in general. In 2020, when I scaled up to 7 figures and I figured out a pre-sell and I started running ads and I started just doing things correctly, I did what I would recommend that everybody watching this should do. And that is what I would call semi-vertical, okay? And so what we did is we picked one niche and we started in 2020. We said, hey, we got a bag of websites that we need to go sell. Yes. However, let's pick one niche and kind of make that our focus. And so we had tree service was our first one. And we went in, and when I say semi-vertical, we went in, we did a deal and it worked. And so we're like, let's go do 5 more. So we did, 4, 5, 6, 7 more of those. Boom. And then by the time we were getting done with that, we had some conversations and we're like, okay, let's try this. And then we did concrete. And so we started doing a little bit of that. We did 3 or 4 of those and then boom. And so by the end of 2020, when we had hit 7 figures, we ended up between 3 and 5 niches that we were focused on in 5, 6 markets. And if you do 5 to 6 niches or 4 to 5 niches in 5 to 6 markets, we're looking at 30 plus websites. And if you charge a good amount of money and you have, let's say you charge even just $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month on those sites average, but you have 1 or 2 big clients that go from $1,000 a month and they balloon into $15,000, $20,000. We had one client that paid us multiple months over $30,000 a month that started as a one website deal. That's how you make it to 100K as quickly as we did. So nonetheless, and to wrap this all up, guys, I personally don't recommend either. I recommend what I call semi-vertical, which is going into tried and true niches or niches that check all the boxes, proving that they work. And then as soon as it works once, going into 5 more cities that are strategic cities that are going to work. And then going into a new niche with 5 or 6 cities, but not stopping this one, still, putting a deal together maybe once every other month and continuing to grow this, but not just focusing on this and doing that 3, 4, 5 times. That to me is the perfect balance of vertical and diversification. Semi-vertical, guys. This is what I did when I scaled in 2020. It's what I recommend you guys do. And if you guys have any questions about how I did it, what I did, clarifications, drop them in the comments. This is all I got on this topic. I got a lot more to say, but on this topic, it's all I got.